Hey, gorgeous! Welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast with Holly Wharton, which combines powerful strategies on how to upgrade your business mindset, along with practical business tips to grow your business. This podcast features solo shows with Holly and also interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. And now, here's your host, Holly Wharton.
Hello and welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast, episode 181. This is your host, Holly Wharton, and I'm back with another co-hosted episode with the fabulous Joe Casey. Today, we're going to talk about whether business mindset is actually important or whether it's just an excuse not to take action. We explore how to get things done in your business more easily, in a way that works for you, including practical action tactics that you can try. So what are you going to learn in this episode? We're going to talk about which of the two camps is right, the mindset camp or the action camp, or neither or both. So we're also going to talk about how to make sure you're taking the right actions and not doing busy work. We're going to talk about what you can do if you're the kind of person who has problems with action taking, what to do if the feel the fear and do it anyway thing doesn't work for you, because it doesn't work for everyone, but it does work for some people. What is parts work and how it can help you with all of this? We're going to talk about how to make action taking easier and less painful. We're going to talk about why forcing yourself to take action isn't always the answer to getting things done, even though lots of people advocate it, and how to integrate the concept of mindset, action in your business. So those are the things we're going to talk about today, and I really hope you find this episode to be useful. This is one of my favorite things to talk about, so I'm really excited about this episode. So thank you very much for tuning in, and hope you enjoy the show. Thanks.
Hi, everybody, you lovely, lovely people. This is Joe Casey, and I'm here with Holly Wharton, and we're doing another monthly special joint podcast. So hi there, Holly.
Hello, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. We have we're in the middle of November here, and the weather is a bit kind of grim and blustery outside. I'm trying to pretend that the US election hasn't just happened, and I'm just not going to mention anything about it. La 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 la. I can't hear it. So today we're going to be talking. So we've come up with a bit of a controversial, provocative title, and it is mindset important in growing your business, or is it just an excuse to not take action? And this is something that we plan to talk about anyway, but Holly, you'd had an experience of seeing somebody online who had really triggered you, you said. So do you want to just share a little bit about that?
Yeah. It was a business friend of mine who had put this video up a couple weeks ago that said, it was on her Facebook, and it said something like, enough with this mindset stuff. And then there was like a 3-minute video. And I saw that and it just triggered my crap. And I was like, oh, another person talking about the evils of mindset or whatever. And then I actually played the video just now, right before we started recording this. And she was basically saying, enough with the mindset bullshit, because you can't just work on your mindset because that's an excuse to not take action. And I totally agree with that. My business is business mindset, but I always create an action plan with clients because it's so important to not just do the mindset stuff. You've got to do the practical action work as well. Mm-hmm. And I do a lot of videos about this, but I feel like I need to talk more about this because mindset is so important to me. I feel like I need to really, really drive home the fact that it's not just mindset, it's also about action. So yeah, I'm super excited about this episode.
And it was kind of funny when you were playing the video so that I could hear it, and I was kind of going, I totally agree with that. And you were like, I know. That wasn't what I thought she'd said at all.
Do you know, that was so funny. That was why when I saw that thing that she'd put, enough with the mindset stuff or whatever it was, it triggered all of my stuff. But then as soon as I listened to the video, I was like, well, yeah, I totally agree with that. So there goes to show you the power of controversial headlines or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So I should probably out myself and say that I am not a massive fan of, there's a lot of things that go on in the coaching industry that I am not a fan of. And one of them, And I think it probably boils down to this idea that it's kind of one or the other. There's these two camps and never the twain shall meet. So you have the whole, let's manifest everything. Let's just really focus on raising your vibration, and that will attract the right people to you, which I think is utter nonsense. I've met so many coaches who invested so much money in people who gave them, meditations and manifestations and no actual tangible strategy, or who, like your friend in the video was saying, who use all of that to not take action. Mm-hmm. And then there's another camp of coaches who really are the just effing do it that kind of camp. And I don't think that works either. And I understand why people want to go for simple, one-dimensional answers, but we are not simple one-dimensional creatures. We are complex. And when you're growing a business, you are growing yourself. You have to. You are learning new skills. You are needing to take new action. You are having to do different things. And that requires changes in thinking. That requires you to confront a lot of stuff. I deal primarily with women. So, a lot of the stuff that comes up for us is fear of being visible, fear of being seen, fear of being, stepping outside of what has been expected of you up until this point. Can I really do this business? Can I be the one who is up there as a leader? All of those things take a lot of work on our mindset, for what of a better word. So,
yeah, go on.
No. I was going to say, so you have to have both of them. You need good strategy. You need good strategy that's going to be tailored to the individual and their circumstances. I also, don't believe there's a one size fits all with that. But also, if it was that easy, if you could just download the blueprint, we've all seen the webinars, we've all seen the Facebook ads, download my blueprint to a 7-figure business. If it was that easy, we'd all just download that and just do it.
Yeah.
But we don't, because, stuff comes up. Sorry, go on.
Exactly. No, exactly. And the thing is, if all we had to do was take action and completely ignore our mindset, as you said, it would be so easy. We would be just blasting through our to-do list. Mm-hmm. We would be doing all the stuff. We would be getting all the results that we want. But the reality is stuff gets in the way. Mm-hmm. And that whole feel the fear and do it anyway, which I know is a book, which I haven't read, that doesn't work for me. I understand the importance of taking action even when something feels icky, but I feel like if you can release that fear and release the blocks and release the stuff that's keeping you stuck, it just makes it easier for you to take action. Now, I know some people are kind of the belief that you have to work hard to have a successful business, but what if you didn't? What if you could make things easier? And to me, doing the mindset work is all about making things easier. That doesn't mean that you just sit back and do nothing, but it just makes it easier for you to take action rather than everything feeling like pulling teeth.
Yeah, absolutely. When I first kind of started getting into coaching, I really liked this model, this idea of the stretch zone. So you've got your comfort zone, you've got your panic zone, but then you've got your stretch zone. And I think what a lot of the feel the fear and do it anyway type thing suggests, until you get into the nuance of it, is that you should jump straight out of your comfort zone and into something that absolutely terrifies you. Yeah. And I think that is not a good way to live your life, because, we're very good at protecting ourselves as humans. And so there will always be a backlash with that. So, you take this massive step and then there's a retreat. And also, it's a miserable way to live.
Sounds stressful.
Yes, exactly. So I always walk this line with people of saying, building a business is relatively simple, but it's not easy. Mm-hmm. And you need to be willing to put in the work. You need to be willing to work through your stuff with it. And that's what I help people to do. But if this was just a question of just do it, you've also got to factor in your why, your reason for doing it. One of my big whys for running my business the way that I do, and my desire to to help people, you know, on the purpose of my business is I want to be able to show, particularly women, because it's mainly women that I work with, that there is a way that you can create your own life around your work. And I think that traditional kind of 9 to 5, traditional businesses don't give us the flexibility and freedom to be able to have a nourished life, whether that be sitting at a desk from, you know, 8:30 till 5:30, or having to do work that you don't find fulfilling, or, you know, how the fact that it's so inflexible and doesn't fit in around things like caring responsibilities and children, and, you know, that ability to kind of grow and connect as humans. I don't think our model of work does that. And one of the things I love about technology is it gives us all so many options to be able to create a business around our work, because I'm very much of the belief that, you know, certainly for the people that I work with, coaching is their heart's work. It's their soul work. It's something that, you know, there's a huge amount of value in there, which is aligned with their values. And that's really important. And so as part of that, what I also don't want to be doing is just going, okay, so work a 12-hour day, be, you know, burning the candle at both ends in order to get this nourished life, because whilst you're doing that, you're not living a nourished life either. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's that same idea that you have to work hard for, you know, all these years until you're 65 and then you retire and you live a life of luxury. It's the same thing, but transfer it to your business. You know, work 12 or 16 hours a day until you've made it, and then you can, you know, kick back.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, I do work hard. I do work long hours, but they don't feel nearly as draining as the ones that I did, you know, when I worked in 9 to 5. That also being said, it is very easy for me to tip into busyness and overwork. And I am a recovering perfectionist, and I am somebody who I thrive on busy, and that kind of stepping into being reflective, taking time out. I struggle with that. I will totally out myself with that. And so I think there's also something around, you have to be very vigilant that kind of just do it. Isn't just a way of you kind of giving into your inner critic, you staying busy so that you are numbing yourself to some of the other stuff that's going on. And it's just not sustainable longer term. We both know how, you know, how many entrepreneurs burn out or have depression or have anxiety. It is a real thing. It is no different from the rest of the population. You know, the internet is littered with stories of people who, you know, my business suddenly blew up. I was working really, really hard. I got really depressed. I was just anxious all the time. I wasn't sleeping, because you don't have some of those protective factors built in. And I think that just do it mentality, it raises red flags and danger zones for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's definitely, I did that with my first business, and I have sworn that I would not do with this business. But it makes me wonder, you know, those people who are type A personalities, which I am not.
Oh, I am.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So this is a question for you. So if you're naturally drawn to that kind of push, is there a way for you to live that lifestyle that you crave and also kind of build breaks into it so that you can not burn out? Or, you know, I mean, is there a way to make that work?
Yes, absolutely. And I think the first thing is you have to acknowledge it and you have to be vigilant about it. And, okay, so I'll give you a very real example. So I've got a couple actually. So this week, you know, it was the US election. I did say I wasn't going to talk about it, but I was fairly, you know, it hit me very, very hard, like a lot of kind of progressive types. I'm not in the US, I'm in the UK, and I'm not going to kind of get into the politics of it, but it hit me very hard. And so one of the ways that I try and cope with stressful situations is I try and give myself lots and lots of information about it, which meant that I was totally ODing on social media to the point where I'd be scrolling through Twitter at 2 o'clock in the morning. And my mastermind buddies, I have this mastermind with 2 other coaches, and I was telling them about this, and we were all saying, you know, how it had hit us. And the 2 of them just kind of went, oh, okay, intervention. You need to get off social media for the next 2 days. And I was like, oh God, you're right. And I really didn't want to, because I really wanted to keep going and pushing it. Same thing has happened if I'm launching something, for example, it's one of the reasons that I still don't like launching. It's not that launching doesn't work. It's not that launching, a course or a program and things like that a lot of the techniques and the methods don't work. They do work. But I find it very stressful because I am that type A person. I want to do everything. It has a tendency, if I'm not vigilant and I'm not careful, to tip me into that. I'm just going to ride the busy wave till I hit the wall and I need a week in bed afterwards. And that is not healthy and that's not sustainable. So there is something about being aware of it, about being vigilant, and about doing things like building in breaks. But I sometimes do sneaky things with myself, like building breaks and have other people hold me accountable to it, because I know that sometimes I won't hold myself accountable. Like if I book the yoga class, I know I have to pay for it. If I'm going to meet somebody there, I have to show up. If I book a spa day, I tend to go. Like last week, I went for a spa day with my mum, because in all honesty, I could have very easily cancelled it last week. Very easily if it just been me. So there is something about, I think, knowing yourself and understanding yourself. That's me being very kind of transparent. And sometimes my clients go, how do you do it all? And I have to say, I don't, because we have this idea that, everyone online, because we only have this little insight into their lives, is doing it all, is super, super confident, is super, super accomplished. And, you just do a little bit of digging through people's past blog posts. You will see people like Danielle Laporte. You will see people like Marie Forleo. You will see people all over the place talk about how stressful their business has been at times. And, we don't yet, I think, have a proper model for how we all do this, particularly if your default position is kind of just do it, push through. So I think you do have to be really vigilant as a fellow, recovering perfectionist and type A person. I am definitely a work in progress on this stuff.
All right. So question then. So for people that have this kind of personality and they're very much oriented towards action, we've talked about the practical things you can do to kind of put those breaks into place and make sure that you take them. But what kind of mindset stuff can you work on so that it's safe and appropriate for you to take breaks, or easy for you to take breaks, or easy to take time off? What kind of mindset work could you do to kind of help that, make that easier?
Well, I think first of all, it's almost a step before that, is to make sure that the actions you have planned in are actually the right actions.
Yes.
Because what I find is that I can do a lot of busy work. And by busy work, I mean stuff that is keeping me occupied and making me feel like I'm doing stuff, but isn't actually getting me to where I need to go. And I see this show up with my clients a lot. It's when you're redoing the website for the third time. It's when you're trying to get all your social media kind of branded right and in place and schedule all of your tweets rather than putting on the workshop or, sending the email out to your clients. It's those things. So I think it's about having that step back. One of the things that I do is I have almost like a mental board of directors. So I mentally have a CEO, and the CEO is the one who has the big picture. And so there are times that I regularly, and, my coach and my mastermind buddies help me to do this, because I won't always do this myself, and this is something for people listening, would be really good to do. See if you can tap into that inner CEO. And that inner CEO is the person who understands the big picture, maybe has a bit of a longer term view of where you want to go and what you want to achieve. And then can, from that position of, I can, that almost helicopter view, can say, okay, these are the key things that need to get done. And then you can look at, so the work that I'm doing, is that moving me towards those key things or not? And what I find is that very often, particularly if I'm in that kind of slightly frenetic, do it mindset, actually the activities I'm doing aren't getting me closer. It's busy work. So setting aside times where I can batch activities are really helpful. So having that bigger picture, and then also becoming aware of what are some of the stories I'm telling myself about the action and what will happen if I don't take the action.
Yeah. I know one thing that I found really, really helpful is to, when I'm doing my to-do list of actions for each day is to pick 3 of the most important actions. And I always make sure that one of those 3 has to do with visibility and getting me out there in a bigger way, getting me visible. And then another thing has to do with something that will directly help me to bring in clients or money or whatever to my business. And then the third can be something else that's important. But I always make sure that those 3 are the important tasks, the stuff that needs to be done rather than, as you've said, the busy work.
Oh, that's really good. I like that. I like that idea.
So what other tips do you have for people who maybe aren't the natural action takers, but are they come more from the let's manifest and attract, which I think is not a bad thing. I think a lot of us, like sometimes we can make fun of that, but I think it can be good because it helps you get in the right mindset of, attracting the right clients for you, attracting the things that you want. But what advice would you have for people who tend too much towards that side and not so much towards the action taking side?
I'd have to say my default tends to be more of the do it, but I do see this show up a fair bit with my clients. And I think that for some people, it is around fear. A lot of the work that both you and I deal with actually comes down to fear and how people respond when they're in fear. And for me, it's about emphasizing the marriage between the intention and the intuition, and then take some very aligned actions with that. So it's a very different energy from the do it type of action. But it is around the, you have to be out there. So you do the internal work and you do the kind of drawing things too, but then I also think you have to meet it part way. So I quite often will do a meditation with my clients, or sort of a meditation, sort of a kind of a light hypnosis thing around imagining that energy that you are drawing in, also your energy going out into the world and it meeting the people that it needs to meet and touching the people it needs to meet. Because there are people right now who are trying to, manifest to you. But if you're not meeting them halfway, then in some way you're denying them that help and that support. And so I find that a really helpful kind of metaphor to use and a really helpful image to use, because it is about people getting out rather than just staying in.
Yes. And I think that's a really important image for people who are afraid of sales and afraid of marketing, because if you're in a coaching business or another kind of helping kind of business, and you know that you're in your business because you want to help people and help make the world a better place and help people improve their lives, if you're not taking the practical actions to get out there and, as you said, meet your clients halfway, then you're denying them the possibility of getting that help. So you're actually kind of hindering them rather than helping them, because you're not doing your part in making sure that they find you.
Yeah.
Maybe you could, go on.
No, I was going to say, I was having this exact a conversation with my client this morning. I spoke to somebody before we hopped on Skype now to record this, and she's at that stage of, I've got everything in place. She's got a beautiful website up. She's got her messaging in place. She's got her packages. She'd started tentatively talking to people about her service, but now she's ready to take some bigger action. And so we talked about this and saying that, actually, I think first of all, the first thing to go back to is, do you believe in your gift and your service? Because if you do, if you know how much your services can help people, then it stops being all about you, and it becomes about, well, how do I get that message out to the people who need it?
Yeah, the problem is, though, a lot of people do believe in their gifts and in their service, but they've also got that other part of them that's saying, you're not good enough, you're a fraud. If you put yourself out there and you market your business, people are going to see that you're the fraud you really are. Yeah. So, yeah.
I do think that's where some of the kind of core of our work comes in around, well, how do you get past that? Because let's face it, if you know all the steps to take, as like we said earlier, it would be easy to do it, but it's not. It's those things that hold you back. And I think the real test for an entrepreneur or business owner is, are you willing to do the work to move through those parts. So you can either white knuckle it and go, do it, which might take you so far, but I honestly believe there is a backlash internally with that. Or it's about how do you work through that? One of the tools that I use is something called parts work. And I know you have your own tools, Holly, but I think that being able to move through it is essential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Could you say more about parts work? Because is that like parts integration from NLP?
Yes, it is. So so if you've not come across the idea of parts before, think about a time when you've really wanted to do something. So, January comes along and you decided you absolutely are going to do the healthy eating. You're going to eat clean. You're going to, cut out sugar. You're not going to have alcohol, all of that. And you're really determined. You are absolutely determined you're going to do it. You're 100% determined. But there's part of you wants the cookie. So a big part of you really wants to be eating healthy, to not have the sugary food. But part of you wants the cookie. And then, you can use all your willpower as you want, but then, you have a bad day, something happens, and before you know it, you're halfway through the cookie packet. And that's happened to all of us, or a variation of that has happened to all of us. And it's this idea that we have various parts of ourselves, and if they're not aligned, then it's like this internal battle goes on. And those parts have developed not out of any sense of malice or deficiency in you, but actually from a very protective place of trying to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Or trying to provide comfort or, make you happy. We eat the cookie because the cookie tastes nice.
Yeah, exactly.
And we get some pleasure from the cookie.
Yeah, of course. And it's very much about kind of the way I work with people in the terms of conscious mind and subconscious mind, because so often your conscious mind knows what it wants. It believes you can do it because it's got the rational power to see that it makes sense. But your subconscious mind, as you've said, it's that part that's trying to keep you safe, because maybe the kids laughed at you at school when you put your hand up to answer a question, or maybe the teacher said that you were stupid, or you were a slow learner, and so now you think you can't learn the stuff you need to learn to build your business, or, and so your subconscious mind stores all this stuff, and it's like, no, don't take that action. Don't do that stuff. It's going to be scary. It's going to be awful. It's going to put you into that panic zone. So just stay where you are in the comfort zone. It's so much safer.
Yeah, absolutely. And so much of this is around stuff that isn't logical on the face of it, but then when you dig underneath, there is a certain logic there. Stepping out, being seen, saying something does put you at risk that somebody might disagree with you. Now, you can then say, well, I can cope if somebody disagrees with me. But because so much of this is going on kind of under the surface and subconsciously, you don't get a chance to kind of take that thought through to its kind of adult conclusion, because a lot of this stuff that's going on, these are kind of beliefs that have been embedded in us, usually when we're a lot younger, usually when we're really little kids, like, before 7. So, we've all had those times in school or in the playground when we've said something and people have laughed at us, and that sticks. That doesn't mean that it will happen again. And it also doesn't mean that you wouldn't be able to cope with it because you're no longer 6 or 7 or you're no longer on the playground. But, but that fear becomes kind of knotted in us very, very deeply. And I think part of the work is, well, how do you work through that and get past it? Because, we're not logical creatures. We like to think we are, but we're not as humans. We're really not.
I know. And the thing is, when we form those beliefs at such a young age, we live with them for so long that it's like they turn into truths for us, and we see them as fact, but they're not fact. They're just beliefs, and you can change them.
Yes.
But it can be so challenging to actually realize, oh, wait, this thing that I've always thought is not for real. It's not a fact. I can change that because it's just a belief.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a friend I still have a friend. She's still my friend. I have more than one friend.
My only friend.
Yes. But she'd gone to university, and this particular friend is very rational and logical. She's an economist, and she was telling me aghast at a friend that they'd gone to university with, who had set up her own online holistic business. And I think it was about kind of angel readings or in the tarot or something like that. Something that was very, very, alien to my friend who's the economist. And she was saying, why would she do that to herself? Why doesn't she know that people are laughing at her? And I said, well, are people laughing at her? And she went, no, I just feel awful for her. People must be laughing at her. I said, but that's your truth. I don't think, and it really, my friend just almost at first just couldn't compute this, why somebody would do that. So because she had a very different belief system.
Yeah.
But it was that moment where it had never occurred to her that somebody could be doing that because that's what they feel is, the right thing to do for them. And it's, no, not everybody does. And
it helps people.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And a lot of people
and people are looking for that.
Yes, exactly. I would hazard a guess that we've all had certain experiences like that kind of jolt you out of something that seems so obvious. And then when somebody else gives you a perspective, you kind of go, oh my goodness. Yeah. But I'd been locked in this belief.
Yeah.
And so, I go back to this thing. Starting your own business is fairly simple, but it's not easy. And it's not the fact that you need to put in loads and loads of hours and work really hard that makes it not easy. It's all the kind of emotional, mental mindset stuff that we bring to it.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes entrepreneurship such a fantastic personal development journey, because it brings up all your stuff. Now you can choose to kind of railroad over it and work, or you can choose to use that as just brilliant information to use for your personal growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I say this regularly, and I'm starting to say it more so that my clients can hear it. I cry on a regular basis. I cry the ugly cry of fear, and I can't do this, on a regular basis in my business. And then I work through it and I pick myself up and I do it. And so if it appears easy from the outside, because I think that's the other thing that I see come up a lot with people is we look at the people online, we look at that front face, that we present to the world and think they are able to do it so much easier than I am. They are just able to just do it. Maybe they're just manifesting better than I am. Maybe they just, are doing more mindset work than me. Maybe you're just not seeing the work that goes on through it. And so if you want to hear it from somebody who says this is work and sometimes it's hard, then I'm telling you that now. It doesn't mean to say you can't do it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely important because no one shows the ugly cry. It's not like you're going to get on Facebook Live when you're having the ugly cry and share that with the world.
Exactly. Maybe we should. Maybe we should be showing that, And the times when, you get on the sales call and you completely blow it, or you can't bring yourself to quote the price, or I went through
the wrong price.
Yes. I have done that. It's all of those things is part of the growth. But if you don't allow yourself to grow, that, you need the action to do some of the growth, and then you need to be able to reflect on it and kind of go, okay, a new lot of stuff kind of came to the surface there, which I need to work through. And now I can take that learning and I can take some more action. You absolutely need the action and the mindset hand in hand.
Yes, I always say it's like a spiral staircase where one step is the action and one step is the mindset. And as you're going up the staircase in your business, you're taking one step of action, one step of mindset, action, mindset. Yeah. And through that, obviously not literally, but through doing both of these things hand in hand, step by step, that's how you're building your business. And that's how you're growing as an entrepreneur, as an individual, as, everything.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love that analogy, the spiral staircase. Yeah. Okay.
So, I think we've established, hopefully we've made our point, that you can't, I think I'm going to say you can't just do action, or mindset, but you need both.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you want a business that, you want to mean something and that you want to enjoy and that you're not going to burn out with and that you want to be successful. I think the problems come when we are just very unconscious when we're doing this stuff. So we get stuck in the fear and the terror, or we get stuck in the action, it's almost like random actions kind of going on. Yep. And it does have to be this marriage of the two. Otherwise, it's not going to work as well. You're not going to enjoy it. You're going to burn out. And what's the point? You've just replaced, a regular 9-to-5 paycheck, which was maybe boring and slowly sucks your soul out every day, to something that, you feel is destroying you because you're exhausted all the time and you're wondering, when do I get a break from this? It's not sustainable.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yay!
Yay! We have made our point.
It's so funny because we start these things and we just come up with a topic of what we're going to talk about. And I have to say, there are some of them I kind of go, I'm not sure I've got a lot to say on that. And every single time I prove myself wrong.
We managed to produce a podcast episode for you listeners.
Yes. So if you have any topic suggestions that you would like us to talk about, please do.
Yes. So far, we've only had to scrap one of them.
That is true. Yeah, there was just one that we got kind of midway through and just after about 5 minutes, I think we're done on that subject. Yeah.
Let's not put that out there.
No, I can't remember what that was.
I don't remember either, but I just remember we got through it and we're like, really, I don't have anything else to say about that.
Yeah.
And I'm really not sure anyone needs to hear what we've already said on it.
Yeah. No, I'll have to dig that out and find out where I was. So anyway, we digress.
Yes.
Please let us know what your thoughts are on this, because, we love the conversation, and this is our opinions, but we'd love to hear yours. Are you somebody who, desperately disagrees or, has a different approach to this or a different take on it? We would love to hear from you. So please drop us a line. You can get to me at joe@joecasey.com, and Holly, you are
hollywharton.com.
And if you want to drop by the Coaches Collective, which is my Facebook group, you can always tag either of us there. And you also have a Facebook group, Holly, which
I do.
You're a bit shy about promoting, so
it's the Business Mindset Alchemists. So if you search for that, you can find it. You can also find links to it on my website. Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much. This has been really good fun as usual. Thank you for listening, and we will speak to you soon.
And thank you for listening. And remember to visit hollywharton.com/181 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Business Mindset Podcast with your host, Holly Wharton. You can find more information about today's episode, including links for topics that were discussed, at hollywharton.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to head over to iTunes and leave a quick review of this podcast. It just takes a minute. Thank you.